Oh no! Wait a minute. Shoot! I need to. Hold on. I need to change the.
Do you just need the computer for to monitor the Twitch?
And he watches the Twitch to.
I have two computers and I can work on my Mac, so he can use my.
Okay. Yeah, because he literally just needs to get online and just go to Twitch. Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's perfect.
It does help if I can look at the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
So you'll be able to look at it on hers.
Okay.
If you sign in, I can comment under your name.
No.
Right. And then Paul can run amok.
I do that when I'm at home. I've signed in and great stream you got going here.
Hands down the best.
Yeah, I remember that. It's funny. Okay. We need.
Oh!
Don't provide me electricity.
Yeah, there's energy there. G20, G120.
220?
G120, D5.
Okay.
Defeated. Round 3.
Okay, I'm gonna close all this.
Okay, now it's ready to go.
So Ezra rebounded to win the tournament.
Yeah.
4 out of 5 was clear first.
Mhm.
Well, the last one was a forfeit.
And that, I don't think that dude even got that norm.
I have no idea what he wanted. So Daniel Lin didn't show up for the last round because he apparently getting some norm, which I don't know what it is, and yeah.
And he doesn't know what it is either.
And he
apparently.
wanted to withdraw, and I told him, well, if you withdraw, you're not gonna get any money. So he said, well, okay, then I don't withdraw, but I'm not gonna show. So anyway,
That's weird.
well, yeah.
Kids are
It
weird.
doesn't make any sense.
Should I just?
You see, he's not your coaches, right? Who?
No,
No.
no, he's a younger.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Alright, I'm just gonna start streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you kick it off? You should always kick it off.
Yeah.
Kick it off.
Kick it
Yeah,
off.
Kick it
off.
off. Alright, kick it off.
You
Kick it off.
Do it every time, man.
Kick it off.
You're the director, man.
Alright, here we go. Kick it off.
Kicking it off. Kick off the Tuesday night marathon.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's like super good. Oh, but you gotta put it on mechanics chess. So I'm sure we're live and we're over here talking to ourselves. So, but that's good because it, shows the character of the club. Welcome everyone to the Mechanics Institute. I am not FIDE Master Paul Whitehead, but I am Abel Talamantes, chess director at the Mechanics Institute, kicking it off here for round 3 of the Tuesday night marathon. With me is 3-time U.S. champion Grandmaster Nick DeFermian. How's it going, Nick?
Good.
And I got Paul next to me right here. He's setting up the Twitch so he can interact with the folks here. And we got some great games tonight, including a match on board 1 of the only 2 unbeatens in the tournament, which is FIDE Master Ezra Chambers out of Webster University. He's playing Nicholas Wang. And let me go to that game right here on board 1. Oh,
That is a big battle. Ezra had a bit of an escape to win last week, but he's now the man in the Tuesday night marathon.
Yeah, he's sort of like the big dog right now. I just had to fix something because the recording said that the game was over, but it clearly is not. And it looks like this is out of a French. So Ezra came with the French tonight. All right, I'm going to let you go on here. Okay. All right, everyone, we'll see you a little bit later.
Hi, Nick.
Hi, Paul.
Live from downtown San Francisco. Yeah, so it's the Tuesday night marathon, round 3, and that was Abel Talamantes, chess room director. And yeah, Ezra won the tournament, Nick, all over the weekend.
Oh, yes, the weekend tournament. He has been hot. Ezra has been playing really well.
He lost a game, but came back and won all the rest of his games. So.
Well, it doesn't pay to get him mad, so.
Yeah, and you know, hey, there's an incredible matchup on board 11, and we can't see it. And you know who's playing on board 11, Nick?
I think I do. I think I've heard this special story. It's Elliot has been changed from his usual board, playing on board 11 for a special opponent.
Right, and that opponent is Tony Lama.
The one and only Tony Lama.
Yeah, who does chess, the mates in 3 and mates in 4 and all that on the in the newsletter. He's been around here at the Mechanics forever, and as a regular at the chess club. And he's playing Elliot. Man, I wish we had that up on the DGT boards. But
Well, I may ask at one point to sneak over there and take a look at the position.
I will.
After about an hour or something.
I will definitely do that, Nick. I will definitely do that. Elliot and I went out and got some coffee today, and Elliot was talking to me about the time that he hung out with Bobby Fischer. He didn't hang out with him, but Bobby Fischer came to some tournament at a hotel in New York and spent a lot of time there, at one point analyzing positions and so on and so forth. And Elliot was saying that he showed Fischer a position out of the Nahdorf that Fischer couldn't figure out, you know.
Pretty good. Elliot should tell that story.
I know Elliot's got a lot of stories, and I'm trying to get him to write them down and to record them. So anyway,
of course, the book about Fischer is John Donaldson's 700-page tome.
Yeah.
Just came out.
I know.
There are people in the Bay Area who really personally knew him. Yeah.
This Donaldson book on Fischer is fantastic. It's thick and it's got my favorite thing, which is pictures. Lots of pictures. So that way,
pictures and diagrams.
Yeah, pictures and diagrams and stories and all that kind of stuff that makes chess interesting. Of course, this is also one of the greatest chess players that ever lived, as well. So, well, here we are on board 1, Nick. What's going on here?
So Nicholas has white, and did he lose some tempo? I mean, somehow.
Yeah, it looks like White's bishop might have gone out to b5 and then come back or something. Let's see what happened. You want to see how this happened?
Yeah, it looks like Black's at least one tempo ahead of the normal situation.
So we're getting an advanced French. This all looks... Here we are.
No, it's just all normal. Somehow Ezra seemed to have moved faster than the average human being, like the Flash or something.
I was just kicking somebody out of the room here. It's annoying me. I'm not going to mention who it is, but I had to kick him out. So why
Okay,
does
but
it seem that Black's won a tempo here?
Well, he hasn't. So, okay, we have your classical advanced French.
And
And
White's
A3
trying
is
to
a
play B4 here, huh?
B4. That'd be a nice move. Just clamp down on the queen side, which is a little bit of a problem.
So Black plays usually what, C4 here, and then
C4 would be a normal move. C4, knight to D2, knight A5 or something. And
right, and then isn't there a pawn sacrifice where White plays B4 anyway? Black takes, and White plays Bishop B2, and then tries to
I
play
guess
C4.
that's been done, but I don't expect Nicholas to do that. I think he's going to try to play very solidly with the white side.
Right.
Nothing fancy. He's a fine player, but he's underrated against Ezra. So
Yeah.
he'll let Ezra mix it up instead.
We're still waiting for some of these young players to make their huge, big move. Some of them do, and just like skyrocket, into outer space, and others seem to hang around at their level for a while. It's not always easy to know when they're going to make their moves.
Yeah, well, Ezra has moved up to the top of the Tuesday Night Marathon rankings, and it wasn't so long ago he was an A player playing in the Tuesday Night Marathon.
Really? Because I remember, I thought, no, Ezra's been a master. He came fresh here as a master, I thought.
From
already.
Webster, but way back he wasn't a master.
Ah. Well, let's move on here. That's board one in the over 1800 and over. Let's go all the way back. This game's already been agreed to a draw on board
Christian
two.
Clemens and
Glenn
Kaplan.
Kaplan.
Two of our veteran players, and you think they might have just
Maybe they're going out for dinner or something.
an evening in San Francisco. They thought, all right, that's one of the benefits of coming to the Tuesday Night Marathon.
Is this a legitimate idea, knight b6 in this position?
No,
No, I wouldn't think so.
it doesn't.
It
blocks the B pawn. It doesn't hit anything. So white just develops, and white has some edge. How did it continue?
Well, we'll watch. I'm sort of going in that direction here.
I would go bishop. Well, let's see. You have to worry about your. Yeah, but bishop e3 is good. Knight e5. Just go knight e2.
Here's where white should maybe play knight d2.
Knight d. Oh, okay. Knight d2, and you would have guarded the c pawn, ready to kick that knight out with f4, and white would clearly better.
My guess is black would play f5, and on f4 play knight f7, and have the worst game after moving his knight 60 times in the opening.
Yeah,
but instead this helps black a little bit, right?
Yeah, so that the exchange alleviates any cramping effect, and it's still white still got a fine game, but all right, black's got enough space for his.
Right, we can criticize black's play, yet I do. There's a consistency in black's moves, which is to be applauded, I think.
And f5 here is a good move.
All of his moves hang together, and so that's a good way to play.
So white could have considered pawn to f4 here, but it gets messy.
Followed by e5, maybe.
Well, it depends. Like after pawn to f4, maybe the bishop goes to e4 attacking. Maybe it takes on c3. There's a lot happening in this position, and Christian, he was
Avoids
getting
those
worried.
questions with bishop h6. I think white's not playing sort of incisively enough or something here.
It was the one little slip of trading the knights, and suddenly black has a very viable game. He's
And that's a nice move by black. f4, of course.
f4, and now you have to worry because one can go to f3, that bishop join on h6, and all those white pieces, they're ready to come in, except they're completely blocked. They can't get in.
Well, you know what? White didn't worry for very long because the players agreed to a draw.
I think that was a good draw for by Christian because things were getting a bit dicey there. It's I think I may like black's position after pawn to f4.
Yes, I agree. I mean, white. The best white looks like he has is f3, and then laboriously bringing the bishop back to g5 to h4. It looks to me like black is considerably better here.
Well, those white pieces, you know, the rook on e1, bishop d3, knight on c3, they can't get into the game now. So, yeah, it's
a lucky escape by white.
Well, okay, still only a slight advantage for black, but easy to play for black.
Okay, we'll go on to board 3, where Sean Kelly is playing Guy Argo. And Sean Kelly is really an up-and-coming player. I think he's won hundreds of rating points in the last couple of months.
Yeah, he's played some excellent chess here. And here he's
Playing
played
veteran Guy Argo.
Yeah.
So let's see.
This looks like a Philidor's defense, and Guy is being shadowed the way Benko used to do.
Well, Sean Kelly, you mean, is white.
Yes. Sorry, Sean Kelly is being shadowed the way Benko used to do against the Philidor. It's and yeah, kind of legitimate. Guy didn't shoot b5, an early b5.
Yeah, h6 is a bit of a waste of time, I think, maybe.
b5 could cause a bit of trouble. It's also aggressive. So
this
Guy
position
is going for the very safe play. White is a little bit better with a little more space. Some people like Guy, they like to do the rope-a-dope. You know, you just get your position, you hang out. Maybe a little bit worse, but you have things where you know they should be, and let your opponent try to mix it up and where he can make a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, black's position, I mean, there's a lot of play here for both sides. So, all right. Let's move on to board 4, where Akko Hidari is playing Gimmelfarb. And these players are both rated, well, Akko is 1996, knocking on expert's door. And Ilya is 1752, knocking on a player's door.
Ilya has played some good games the last few weeks, but Akko, of course, one of the strong players in the club, and we always enjoy when Akko comes on the chess cafe on Tuesdays.
Yeah, he got roughed up in the weekend tournament. At least when I saw, he had lost his first 2 games. This is right out of a blitz game of Carlsen's I was watching.
Very good.
Today. game against Nepomniachtchi. Well, I think
Nepomniachtchi was,
Nepomniachtchi fianchettoed his king bishop with black here.
yeah, but that's a great setup when you put your bishop on e7, knight and f6, pawn to a5, gets you some play on the queen side.
Yeah.
Knight can be on a6. Yeah, that's there's stuff on the queen side. And I like that move, knight e7. Just try to exchange that aggressive knight on e5.
Okay. White's in the think tank here. That must be Magnus Carlsen. Hi, is this Magnus Carlsen? It is Magnus Carlsen, Nick.
Okay, he's probably commenting how, that Ilya
We're on the
has played
broadcast
better than
here. We're on
Nepomniachtchi.
Twitch. Yeah, we're looking at your game versus Nepomniachtchi, the Armageddon game that you won. Yeah, you won. You don't even remember? So I'll try calling you later, Magnus. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yes. You are too. All right. Bye. Okay. Bye. Oh, that game was not a draw.
No.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it like does that.
Okay,
News
flash. It's a news
continued?
flash, everybody. Breaking news flash, Nick. It turns out that this game between Christian Clemens and Glenn Kaplan on board 2 was not agreed to a draw. And
they continue.
actually, white played f3, and black goes back with the knight to d7. And we're here. The black knight looks like it might want to go to g3, huh?
But I'm just wondering if white plays knight to e2, attacking the pawn on a4, and next move queen to c1.
Right.
How is black going to defend that?
Oh, I like that. Look at that. Knight d7 might have been not so good. White, yes, and white sees it. He's piling up on f4 really quickly here.
Oh, Ilya, you better do something. Quick.
Nick, instead of knight d7, maybe black could have played g5, and if bishop g5, rook g7, trying to play bishop h3.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, let's move on here. Shall we?
Yes.
So this game was not a draw, as it turns out. This is Sean Kelly versus Guy Argo, and it's still with Guy Argo still in the tank thinking about his next move. Oh, he plays rook d8. Maybe he's not a gentleman that believes in castling yet.
Castling is for wimps.
Castling is for wimps, that's right.
You're afraid of your king.
Yeah. So, okay, let's move on to the next game, which is Akko, Hidari versus Ilya Gimmelfarb. We're still in this situation after knight d7. Let's look at board. This is board 5. Alex Chin.
Yeah, for Akko's game, let's wait till Magnus calls back with some comment.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, Magnus needs to call me back instead of playing phone. I'm not going to play phone tag with Magnus tonight. Hi, everybody, for joining us. We're enjoying ourselves here, Nick and I, at the Tuesday night marathon, live from downtown San Francisco. I am in the office. In the next room next to me, there are over 60 players, masked. They have their masks on. They're playing chess. in mortal combat with each other, and we're covering the top 8 boards of the open section and the top 2 boards of the under 1800 section. This is board 5. Alex Chin rated 1992 versus Adam Mercado rated 1793. Both these players have 1 point out of 2 games.
Adam always plays interesting chess. Here he's got his bishop on f8. That white pawn change just marched down. It's
Yeah,
interesting.
This is a really fun-looking position, for sure. It's as unbalanced as you can imagine.
Because despite all that, Black's got some reasonable play. He puts the pawn on g6. His dark squared bishop can get out. His knight's going to have that f5 square. White has more space. It's true. I mean, objectively, I like white, but
and there's always the possibility of Black taking on g2 or something like that. Boy, it's complicated, sure. All right, well, let's move on to board 6, where James Mahudi is playing Kevin Reese. And Mr. Mahudi is rated 1800 and Kevin is rated 1900. On the nose, these ratings.
okay. We have to look at this. This is, wow, what a game. Stuff happening. Black is threatening checkmate on the move.
And not so
Okay,
easy for white to stop it without giving a piece back.
It's clear piece up for Black. But wow, this is action. Rook f1 check. The vicious move. That knight on e1's got nowhere to go.
Well, okay, let's try to refute g3 and h3. g3, maybe just queen takes g5 or something.
Well, then knight g2 might be a good move.
So throw in rook f1 check.
Rook f1 check, king to g2.
Queen to f7 or something, or wow, tough little
complicated
game.
Sacrifice, but pawn to g3 is try.
It's risky looking. Here's a funny variation, Nick. White plays g3, black plays queen f7, and then white decides, well, I'll stop the check by playing knight g2.
Very good.
Then queen f1 check anyway. That's
But
a kind of an
G3
unusual configuration. I think because the knight is not usually fianchettoed like that.
Well, I think you've refuted g3 with queen f7. Very nice.
Oh, he could play queen g2, maybe. And then bishop f1.
Bishop f1, definitely. And then the queen has to go somewhere else.
It could take. It could take. Oh, no, it can't take. Yeah, it could take. Oh, it would be amazing if white, if black, queen f7. Oh, yeah, queen g2, bishop f1.
And then either queen back to c2, but probably back to d2. And does black have anything else besides repeating the position? Bishop a6.
Wow.
Go off for black. If you allow knight g2, or piece down. Oh.
Right. Well, that's a funny variation. Thanks, everybody, for joining us this evening. right. We'll come back to this fascinating position here. This is board 7. Adam Stafford, another fast rising chess player, rated 1665 versus Anthony Acosta, experienced player, rated at 1818. Looks to me
And
like
Anthony Costa has just somehow fallen into something here.
yeah, it looks like white's just crushing black, 2 pieces ahead here. This is, let's just go see how this happened. Sveshnikov, I guess it's transposing into a kind of a Sveshnikov. Black's, this is bishop b7. This is kind of unusual. I'll bet you it's not that good. That seems to drop. Well, no, I guess not. What do you think of these moves, Nick?
Well, so far okay, but okay, now
Ooh.
now you have to deal with bishop b5 check.
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
Oh, that was it. That was it. That
Black's
was,
last chance was to play any other knight move.
Yeah.
Okay, so the
Knight
game is
a7, but
actually
should
over.
not have taken on d5. That was just a sad blunder.
Yeah.
And he's fighting on. I admire
No, he's
the,
not actually. The game is over.
Oh.
Hey, Alexi, are you in Oklahoma? Clearly, Black is lost, and I think has resigned already.
Alexi in Oklahoma. So she's usually in Dallas, but
And your daughter lives in Oklahoma. Wow. Part of the country that I don't get too much, Texas or Oklahoma. Did you ever play in any chess tournaments in Oklahoma, Nick?
I remember being in Tulsa, nice spot, and
Pass through it.
so Alexi, of course, has been all over the country, lived in various parts, and of course we remember her from the Northwest, but now been in Texas for a long time, and so her daughter in Oklahoma. And I guess that's probably about. Now Texas is such a big state. That's quite a drive. About a 3-4 hour drive, or maybe I'm missing it by 2 hours.
Texas is huge.
Everything's bigger in Texas. Oh, not bad. 2 hours, 38 minutes. That's pretty good.
That's almost a commute, simple commute. Amazing. Yeah, I my Midwestern Southern geography is not as good as it should be, for sure. Oklahoma City. Let's run by how Kevin's son got into this position versus Samuel Brownlow. Closed Sicilian.
Okay, I'll be.
With bishop b5 check. Black better be careful here. Yeah. A simple strategic plan for white, and black plays d4. That's not out of the question, although you could keep the tension by playing knight f6 or something like that. If I'm black, I want to be careful. I don't want to put all my pawns on dark squares. This is a strange development of the bishop at b2. I'm not sure that I understand it correctly. Here, black could play knight g4. but plays b5, a3, and b4, and that's questionable. I think it just gives up any chance of playing pawn to c4, and after white takes, black's left with a weak a pawn, and now a weak d pawn as well, which can't be taken probably because black will play bishop c5, but still, and now white sees the knight g4 possibility. So this game has been a little bit suspect, I think. Both these players are rated in the B category. So, all right. It's a game, folks. Black has to maybe play bishop c5, and we'll see what happens.
I must be better in that position. You know, d4 is kind of weak.
Yeah. This has been a little bit of a kind of a rocky play by both sides, I think. All right, let's go to down one board to the top board in the under 1800 section, where Sebby Suarez, the winner of was it the under 1400 or under 1600 section at the National Open?
Sebby's really an up-and-comer.
An up-and-coming young player, and he is 2-0 in his section, playing the very experienced Marty Cortines. Been around for quite a long time, solid club player. Let's zip back and see how this occurred.
Yeah, I love this. You know, the young up-and-comer against the experienced veterans. So and they both know their chess, but it's a great battle. It's, you know, you see over and over again in the chess world.
I don't think we're like engines, you know, at least we're not like chess engines. At least I'm not like a chess engine. So what is about this? So here we go. Sebby is playing the old Smith Mora, Nick.
Yeah, which is fun stuff. A lot of people like that. It's you just get an action game, and club players love that. You don't tend to see it at the highest level because, okay, if you're Nepomniachtchi or Magnus Carlsen, you know how to defend against the Smith Mora, and white's not got an advantage. But you know, below the world championship level, it's just action, presenting problems for your opponents. So let's see how Marty deals with it.
Okay, so what about this move?
Yeah, okay, that's
Is Bishop B4 one of the main moves here?
yeah, you could have done pawn to D6, so Bishop B4 is spicing it up a bit.
I like that, spicing it up. Oh, but Sebby goes back with the bishop, and I can't approve of that.
Oh, that's a little wimpy, Sebby.
See, I don't know my opening theory, but I don't like the idea of going backward with my pieces when I'm a pawn down already.
Yeah, you know, anything like bishop anywhere else.
Yeah, develop the king
D4,
bishop.
D3.
Yeah, okay. 97. That looks like a good move. A3. Bishop A5.
Then knight B5 here, did he play?
Yeah.
97 didn't seem quite. I would have gone knight B5, but.
Okay, that's interesting. So, Nick, you're saying that back here, maybe black.
Well, okay.
Black could have played D5 maybe, or knight F6. So you can hardly blame him for doing this.
Well, let's see Marty's idea. He's he's got to worry a bit about those dark squares now. But okay, he's got a pawn. Maybe he just goes pawn to d5. Says, hey, what do you got here for your pawn?
Right.
Take my bishop, but
All right. This is still complicated. Let's go to board 2 in the under 1800, where Ryan Gill, oh, I'm sorry, Steven Svoboda, no, I'm wrong there too. It's Daniel Wang, who's 2-0, and versus Georgios Soleus, who's also 2-0. This is the second board in the under 1800 section. What's going on here? The black queen is attacked.
White's got pieces out. Black has to be really careful with all that
This is one
pressure.
of those typical, Catalan type of positions.
So can Black play knight to d4?
Hold on, we'll get there. I'm just seeing how this happened. Knight to d4. I suppose White would take it. Because otherwise, this knight e2 check is coming up.
Yeah, maybe you could go queen to d3. I'm not sure.
And then if knight f3 check?
Bishop takes f3.
Oh, I see. The bishop is still at e3, attacking the queen at c5.
It gets very tactical.
Interesting game. All right, let's run up to board 1, Nick.
Okay.
All right, so back here,
Well, he did play.
he played
Ezra did play pawn to
c4,
c4.
and White played knight d2, and Black played knight a5, and White went back with the bishop to f1.
And okay,
And
so
on knight e7, played h4.
yeah, so play on the flanks because the center is all locked up, and that b3 square is a little weak for the right side.
That's an unusual move, knight h2 there. And I'm not sure I get it.
I guess I would have played pawn to g3, but
To bring the bishop.
not quite sure what the right plan is there for Nicholas.
Well, it's forcing Ezra, the FIDE master, to burn up time on his clock.
Maybe Nicholas just wants to advance with pawn on f4 and such. It's we'll see. It's as soon as he moves that knight on d2, that knight hops into
Yeah, the standard plan would be to play something like g3 and bishop h3, and then knight g5 and f4 and f5 or something like that. I don't know. But knight h2 is a twist, might be a twist on the usual idea.
It's unusual, yes.
Oh. All right, board 1 is dramatic. Board 2, White went ahead and won that pawn, Nick.
Well, that was a nice pawn to win.
Black played knight d7, probably maybe should have thought better of that move. Because White just went swooping in, and he went back to b6. Oh no.
Okay, so I'm afraid that
White played
and
queen
screwed this
c1.
up a bit.
Yeah, black lost the thread of the game here, and is now down a pawn with not a good position.
Oh, okay. The veteran, Kristen Clemens, coming out well.
Yeah. And white snuck back with the bishop to d2. Now
Okay.
that threatens bishop a5 probably, with like a
Well,
permanent pin on the knight. That knight could not go anywhere.
yeah.
And then
So
white would actually be threatening like queen c2 and queen b3.
yes, Glenn Clapham in trouble there.
Okay, let's roll down. Hi, Michael Walder. This is Sean Kelly versus Guy Argo, and after rook d8, Sean Kelly has played queen d2.
Yeah, oh, White's just building up, ready to put the rook on b1.
You know who's in here is Elliot. Elliot, how did you do? Elliot won his game against our problemist.
Oh my.
And that was a quick game.
Yeah, so it was 30 moves into an endgame.
30 moves into an endgame.
Queen's off early.
So the queens came off early, and you won. All right, well, at some point, we can't see the game on the DGT board, but okay.
Well, that was a tough pairing for Tony. He's great at the problems, but playing Elliot in a Tuesday night marathon, that's a tough pairing.
And Elliot's getting a message in the chat saying, Elliot, call me. I am still in San Francisco.
Oh, no. Okay, I will. Shortly. Momentarily, in fact.
So Elliot says he's gonna call you.
Bye.
So what's a good plan for Guy here?
Well, could I suggest such a radical move as castles?
Castles? I don't know, Nick. That's extremely radical idea here for black. Maybe.
Or you can go knight to f8. And,
yeah.
But I think it's Sean has the better position there.
All right, let's move on. This is Akko Hidari versus Ilya Gimmelfarb. And this, after knight d7, we saw this position. White played, whoa, sorry. After knight d7, white played f4.
Okay, Akko was not satisfied just to trade with a boring position. Going to spice it up, so he's got a pawn on e5.
And takes this with the pawn. This, I mean, if white wants to upset the balance of the position, this is the way to play it, I suppose.
Yes, and Akko clearly wants a fighting game. I think black is doing okay here, certainly. Maybe even pawn to b5. But Akko's made it imbalanced, looking for kingside squares.
All right. I like the way everybody talks to each other on our Twitch thing. Hey, going home, pick up my, da-da-da-da-da.
Hey, we're public service.
We're public service. Yeah, it's funny. We were doing the chess cafe, and Elliot had Zoom on his phone, and so he wasn't talking. Of course, he just had he was driving with his camera on himself as he was driving. It was pretty funny. next time he's going to try to figure out how he can point his camera outside the car so that we can, instead of us looking at him, we can see the Golden Gate Bridge or whatever he's driving, you know, what neighborhood he's driving in, what freeway or whatever. Maybe we'll get a nice sunset or something like that, you know. And so while we're talking about chess. Meanwhile, we're looking into Nick's living room, it looks like. So I think Nick is over in Berkeley, if I'm not mistaken. In the East Bay, anyway. I'm here in San Francisco. Yeah, the one time Elliot was able to respond in any way, we were trying to get him to talk, I think, was he raised one finger, you know, in response to a question or something, and we knew what he was talking about. All right, we're going to run down here to the Alex Chin Adam Mercado game. Black has just played F5 and trying to deny white the E4 square for his pieces. And of course, if white takes on F6, then the pawn at D6 gets vulnerable, but the position gets opened up, and maybe white could play knight e4 then, attacking so e takes f6, g takes f6, knight e4, attacking f6, and if bishop takes e4, bishop takes e4, black can move the rook, and then the pawn at d6 is vulnerable. Can white get in f5 or something? Doesn't look that likely. This is very complicated here. I cannot say what's going on yet with any certainty.
Oh, I have an idea for the white side. What if you go, oh no. I was going to suggest pawn to g3 to chase the knight back, and then go pawn to h4 and solidify the king side. But pawn to g3, queen c6 seems a bit of a problem.
Right. I was looking at taking on f6, and after black recaptures, playing knight to e4, but it looks like black might just take it and then play rook moves, and then the d6 pawn is pretty vulnerable.
Yes.
Although white could maybe play, I don't know if white wants to play rook d2 there.
It's strange. It's almost really good for white, but it's not, because things don't quite gel. It's, you know, if
That bishop on b7 is awesome.
yes, absolutely.
On the other hand, if like, okay, so what if white plays conservatively, like with knight f1 and just tries?
Say you go knight f1, then queen c6 is that ouch?
Knight to e3, defend.
Knight e3. Then you might go pawn g5.
Yeah.
Pawn takes g5. Pawn f4.
Yeah.
Rook takes f4. Knight g2.
Yeah. The dynamic features of this position could be really favoring black here.
It's such an unorthodox way to play for black, but hey, you know.
As white's trying to get black to play c4.
Ah, that is a good move. Knight b3.
Just with the idea of playing bishop to e3.
Yes.
And
it's
queen c6, knight a5.
Oh, indeed. Knight b3 may solve the problems with the king side.
And the idea is bishop to e3. Simple.
Well, black needs to do something, but pawn to g5 seems a little radical right now. Pawn takes g5, bishop to g7. Maybe not. Maybe it may be forced to start action on the king side.
Yeah,
Bishop
g5.
e.
Because bishop e3 is a strong threat.
That's coming quick.
This is a tough little game. We'll come back to it. We were here, Nick, remember? And
Now this is
black played at white after g3. Black played rook f1 check, putting the rook in instead, and then
would have made a draw with queen f7, queen g2, bishop f1.
But look at this. This move actually threatens rook g1 check.
Oh wow!
And
what a sneaky
look at
move.
that. Black overlooked it, Nick. He took back.
And could have, and rook g1 check would have been mate. Oh my God.
He missed it because rook g1 check, king h3, queen h5 is mate. Instead he took there, and white played queen b2, and he still has it.
And he still missed
And he
mate.
still missed it. Black missed mate in 2. Wow.
Ouch, ouch, ouch.
That's a little bit, yeah, here's rook g. This is a beautiful, beautiful move Black misses here. Rook g1 check, king h3, queen h5 mate. Wow. And now the opportunity is over.
With that black queen on h7, it's just good passive and
Yeah.
repeats down.
Now white threatens b5. A real missed opportunity. Oh, okay. Huh. Bishop h, yeah.
And then does the knight get to g2?
Yeah.
Knight to g2, and then it's over. Everything works for black.
Defending e3. Black is in trouble here. Serious trouble.
Well, that was
amazing.
Quite exciting. That's
Yeah, a golden opportunity missed by Cave and Reese. Really pretty checkmate. Amazing. All right, let's roll down here. This game was over, won by white. And we are at Kevin Sun versus Samuel Brownlow. And black plays h5.
ooh, I just don't know about that move. That's on the king side.
Yeah, white can just sidestep with king h1 or something and then try to take the pawn on d4. It just looks wrong.
If I were white, I'd play queen e1
And try to get
f2
the
or
pawn.
g3.
Yeah. I like that queen e1. Yeah, h5 is a strange move.
Although maybe it's good because what is black doing? Pawn structure-wise, white has that solid chain. And where is black going to break it? I mean, with a5, a4,
Yeah.
hard to attack the c2 pawn because the knight's on the c
I
file.
think black has just kind of misplayed the game. I mean, he missed some opportunities here earlier on. I think you were out of the room, Nick. Why not play knight g4 here? To play knight e3.
I mean, it's the bishop. Oh, like right now with
Yeah.
the bishop on b2.
Yeah. Instead, black, and this is another questionable move, of course, pawn to b4. This doesn't
Oh,
give.
on to A4. Just lock it up. But he took it.
Well, this is reasonable too because black has that backward A pawn, right?
True. That's true.
In a way, I mean, and now white, of course, gets away with everything by playing h3. So this worked out rather well for white.
I bet the game is not over. I bet we're going to see more action in this game.
Fireworks. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's go to Sebby Suarez versus Marty Cortines.
Now, this to me is like the battle of the round, the battle of generations. And Sebby, just toss that pawn, throw in a pawn, have a good time. The veteran Marty, hey, a pawn is a pawn. Show me what you got.
Well, white has compensation here.
It looks compensation. It looks like with reasonable play, black is also, got a reasonable position. So both sides get what they want. Young, aggressive player and, the old, savvy veteran.
White should just hurry to get the development going here. Bishop d3 and castle.
Yeah, if I were black, I want to get that pawn to d6, cover some dark squares.
All right. And here we are on the second board of the under 1800 section. Daniel Wang versus Georgios Soleus. And indeed, black played knight d4. So now we have queen d3 as a major alternative to bishop takes d4.
Yeah, bishop takes d4 is all right. Black, white still could be better with the rook to c1 or something. Not a bad move, but queen to d3 just ups the tension.
Yeah, it does.
And
scary.
With allowing a check in the queen. So, but queen d3 is a really tough move to handle.
Everything is pinned.
Maybe you go pawn to e5 to hold that knight. No, pawn to e5 threatens bishop to f5, sort of. Rook d1 and bishop f5, queen f5, knight f5, bishop takes c5.
What was your move after queen d3, e5?
Maybe rook f to d1.
Bishop f5.
Bishop f5, queen takes f5, knight takes f5.
Oh, yeah.
Bishop takes c5, bishop takes c5, bishop takes e7. 8. Raids and rook to b8. White's still got some pressure. Though bishop takes d4, rook takes d4, rook a c1. White's got some pressure there with the better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Fascinating position. And back up to board one.
So tell us a little. Was there any news about the great Winslow Tony Lama game?
It said that it was the queens came off early and the game lasted 30 moves, and so I don't know anything more than that.
Well, they must both have been playing quickly.
Yeah. That's true. One of the things actually that Tony has said that he's rusty and that he's been playing too quickly.
Okay. So Kunstberger is asking about Adam Mercado's game.
Okay, let's go to that. Oh no! Oh, I see that game. All right, let's go to that quickly then. Knight takes G2 and then Queen C6.
But knight takes G2, rook takes G2, Queen C6, Queen F1 is sort of, yeah, sorry, that's just better for white.
Yeah. Queen comes up to the second rank, or Queen F1. Desperation, a little bit of desperation there. I mean, white's tied up temporarily, but the threat is knight A5, and black is still boxed in over on the king side. His rooks aren't doing much, that's for sure. Black would be not happy to give up the minor pieces.
Yeah, your two most active pieces, the knight on H4, bishop on B7.
I mean, what if
want to do better?
What if black? I guess C4 is just bad.
I mean, though, bishop E3 is really a threat.
What about Okay, so let's say black does decide to play C4 here. I mean,
okay, and
yeah, it's not a move he wants to. I guess white could play Queen D4 even. Nothing, huh? That endgame is probably not that bad for black. Maybe it is. All right, but if white plays knight d4, then maybe black can try his g5 move or something.
Pawn to C4, your Queen D4 looked like a very good move because a Queen C6, knight to A5, clearly good, and trading queens. Yes, that endgame is good for white.
It's good
Queen
for
takes
white,
D4,
yeah.
knight takes D4.
I guess can black play G5 there?
Well, actually, black would be forced to play G5 because if you give white one tempo in that endgame,
yeah, white's going to play A4 or something.
Well, you'd go pawn to G3, knight to G6, pawn to H4, and all three of those black pieces on the king side, they're completely locked out of the game. The knight on G6, bishop on F8, rook on F8.
That's amazing. That's
You're
actually
down
an amazing
three
position.
pieces for the battle on the queen side.
Yeah. But so what happens after G5 then?
Okay, so if C4, Queen D4, Knight D4, G5, well, first thing you think is take the pawn.
And then Bishop G7.
Bishop G7, which is a nice move. Yeah.
And my idea is to play Knight G6.
It looks like you're getting that E pawn back, and if you get the E pawn, you're really happy.
Huh.
Pawn to G5. If pawn to G6, knight to G6. Maybe white should play that, but black's happy if black can open up lines on the king side. So pawn to C4, that endgame may not be so good because of that pawn to G5 break. So if pawn to C4, knight to D4, pawn to G5 anyway.
Yeah, although white's got bishop E3 there. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Somehow, and somehow, if white could just stave off the issues, he should be better.
Yeah, but it's not, white is not consolidating. You know, white looks to consolidate and just have that great pawn chain, but I like how Adam has played this. It's just action.
All right,
It's
we'll roll down here. We have this game. Rook f3 would work here, right? Oh. Oh no.
what is that move? Queen h8.
Oh, sorry. Oh no. What happened?
That,
He can't play
that,
that.
that's giving back a whole bishop. What's that?
That doesn't make any sense to me. White could have played rook takes f3 there. And if rook f3, queen c1, he could play queen f1. So white had this game still under control. Queen h8
James,
check is a surprising move.
You have confused us, James. This game has had some real ups and downs.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna come back to this one, Nick. After h5, white played king h1, and black played bishop c5. All right, so this is still going on, and Sebby has played bishop d3, as we thought he might, and white did take on d4 in this game, Nick.
Okay.
And black took back with the rook, and white's in the think tank here. Knight b5, no. Rook c1, yes. Now black, this helps black. Takes a little bit of the pressure off, I think. It was a very complex position. I think very difficult to tell
Indeed it is.
exactly. But,
Rook c1, rook ac1 looks like pressure for white.
yeah.
And how does black develop? It's not so easy.
No. Queen b4, maybe?
Ah, nice move. Trade queens, knight b5.
Oh, yeah. Knight b5.
Rook comes back to d8.
White still got the pressure going. A3, just a simple A3.
Bishop comes back to e7.
And then knight A5.
Must be, yeah, white's got pressure. White definitely has pressure in this game.
All right. We're going to go all the way up to board 1 and see how Nicholas is doing against Ezra Chambers. This odd little maneuver, knight h2, and black played king d8. Very, very Nimzovician game here. h5, h6, and the knight ends up on this rather unusual square in this opening, I think. g4, and then back to e3, and finally f4.
This is kind of a fun game, and the king just
game.
had a little stroll over there, slow walk. Yeah, just.
Yeah, the knight took a long time to come to e3. Very interesting. Where it's trying to support the f5 break. Meanwhile, black did something similar with king d8, c7, b8. So, you know, complex, right?
So white would like to complete development. The knight goes to f3. The knight jumps into b3, forks that rook and bishop, takes that bishop. Maybe white should allow that. You can't go rook to b1 because, oh, you can go rook to b1. Bishop takes a3. Doesn't work because the knight on d2 defends the rook. But that knight on d2 can't run away. So it's hard to finish development for white.
How about
And they're
how about ignoring the queen side and just playing g4, bishop h3, and being careful to avoid sacrifices on e5 and d4, and trying to play f5.
Well, he seems to be doing that. That knight on e3 has just like made a world tour all around the board.
All right, let's move on. Black has lost his queen.
Oh.
All right, let's see how this happened here. White retreated with the bishop, as we saw. He's won a pawn. Black trades, and white takes with the e-pawn, and that looks good to open up the rook at e1. I like that.
And Glenn played the aggressive queen to h4. It was a fatal flaw.
Yeah, it's going to lose his queen. Yes.
The queen gets trapped, nowhere to go.
Black throws the bishop away. Oh, this is brutal.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And it's
Yeah, this is just
over.
horrible. Okay. White is a queen up. That should
Glenn's
be enough.
just shell-shocked.
Shell
Nice
shock.
game by Kristen.
Yeah, yeah. He came back to just scoop up that F pawn. That was surprise for Black, and kind of a surprise for us here too.
It's funny how one little pawn was lost and then it all goes wrong.
Yeah. For want of a pawn, the battle was lost. So Black did castle. Guy castles here. Rook e1, rook d8, queen d2, and he finally castled. I guess he's not afraid of a sacrifice on h6 yet. White pushes up with g4. This is a real classic battle here, Nick.
And I like this move by Guy, knight to h7. It focuses on the dark squares. It takes any sting out of a sacrifice on h6.
Yeah, that's
Nice
prophylactic.
move.
Yeah, it's a nice move. I agree. It's funny how maybe White should play knight g3 here to try to get into f5.
Yeah, probably.
Fun game. Fun game. Players are really, it's very complex. Okay, here's Akko Hidari versus Ilya Gimmelfarb. This was White really trying to make it a double-edged fight. We saw this position. Black played queen, Black played queen b6. And White plays knight c3. Can Black just take on c4?
Yeah, that does give away the central squares, and you can probably knight a4 to get your pawn back. Probably gets queen to b5. Guess you could do that. It's a risky move to give up.
Maybe if Black takes on c4, White plays queen h5 and just goes for it.
Queen h5 or knight e4.
Yeah, just give up those queenside pawns and start pouring the pieces over to the king side.
Yeah, I like that. That's nice move by Akko. That's
Yeah, it's aggressive. Yeah, I like it.
And maybe Ilya didn't think of that, because that's now the white pieces are starting to come onto good squares, and black has that bishop on c8, which isn't doing much.
Okay,
So
we'll come back to this. And black is still thinking in this complex position. We'll come back to that too. Oh, we have a king and pawn ending. Oh. This is an interesting one actually, Nick, right? Because there's the possibility of white playing pawn to e5.
very interesting, really. And black 2, 4, 5, but white is a pawn ahead. This was this
This
crazy
game where white
game.
gave away a piece with queen h8 check. It's hard to understand. And certainly black should be happy with whatever he can get here. But okay, so I guess white should be, if white can win this f3 pawn, which he can, and black goes into the king and pawn ending.
Well, that is a mistake. You know, keep the rooks on, and then instead of f3, you know, rook e7 or something, and
So black should keep because this is a lost king and pawn ending.
well, it's interesting. Certainly, the pawn up has the advantage.
Yeah.
Even though there's the protected pass pawn. And my gut feeling is there's a way to win, but it's because, as you say, there's always that possibility of pawn to e5 and getting the pass d pawn.
Yeah, black can't go too far here with the king, right?
King f3, and
yeah, I think black's gonna run out of moves here.
Yeah, you don't want to push the pawn to c4 because white king comes back and grabs it. So king f3, the black king has to retreat. And
then as soon as white king comes up, and then white can play e5, I guess.
And if white can get a passed g pawn with a passed d pawn, that's the end.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, James, your queen h8 check was a shocker, but
yeah.
You've got a winning position.
Turning a winning position right here into looks like I mean, maybe he's panicking because of the threat of queen h3, but white can just play rook takes f3 here.
That would be, yes, standard. But James didn't want to be standard.
Right. All right. White plays knight to e5.
Oh, you know, I do that to the pawn structure. Maybe it's good, but if you're just on queen e1, white has a clear advantage. Just controls the king.
Young players don't play like that, man. They like action, Nick. They're not old chess players like us. They want movement, you know. We just want to sit around and what. So what happens here? Knight e5 if black takes and plays what? Knight e8 or knight h7. White. What does white have? It may be very difficult to break through over there. Knight f4 g6.
Yeah, if you go knight to e8, knight f4 g6, then that knight can help defend on the g7 square. Okay for white, but maybe black is okay.
But this is an interesting game and far from over. There's going to be a lot of entertainment heading to us. Here's Sebby Suarez versus Marty Cortines. And, you know, Nick, all I can say about this position right now is black is still a pawn ahead. And
Yes.
white still has some chances based on the two bishops. So white played rook d1, Nick, instead of rook c1. And black played rook b8. Is there a way to take advantage of black's lack of development here?
Yeah, if you trade the rooks, that rook d1 attacking the queen comes back to c5. Somehow, I didn't like this rook d1 as much.
Yeah, if this doesn't work, then it's just helping black by trading. Rook b8 is a cold-blooded move. It's a nice, cool move. If it works, black is just fine.
Yeah, I like that move. It's a high-level defensive move.
It just says, show me. Yeah, like you said, Nick, rook d1 might not have been the right move. All right, let's move on here. We'll move all the way up, actually, to Nicholas Wang versus Ezra Chambers.
And that game is going to go on a long time, I think. It's a slow maneuvering game. And Nicholas has now finally threatened a pawn on g7. But
and not only that, but he's threatening knight takes d5 maybe as well.
Ooh. That one would hurt. Oh, rat. All this positional maneuvering, and suddenly there's a tactic.
And that's the thing about these young players, man. You know, they'll just come at you and swing at you, and could hit you for a quick knockdown. This might have. Let me see how much time Ezra's been spending on this. F4. Bishop e7 after 6 minutes thought. Queen g4. Took a long time for white to play that move. But it seems strong. Bye, Alexei.
10:30 in Oklahoma.
10:30 in Oklahoma. 8:30 here. So what do you think about this position? I think knight d5 is a crush.
I'm trying to do if queen to c7, queen takes g7, rook on c to g8, queen takes f7. Is there any way we can trap that queen on f7?
Which doesn't have a move.
But
Bishop h4. Trying to play knight d8.
Well, looks like we could. Oh no, we couldn't quite repeat the moves by attacking the queen. That white queen could go to g7 to f7, back to g6, and slide back down to b1 or c2. Ezra's going to be thinking here. That queen g4 didn't seem to expect that with the double threat.
It's a nice move. This is pretty standard. It's pretty standard to answer h5 with h6, but I'm not always sure. Like, you know, if you allow h6 and black plays g6, yeah, it's true all the dark squares become weak over there. but it also means that white only has one way in, you know, unless he's going to sack a pawn with f5. So I'm
Yeah,
never quite sure.
the problem is it then just trade the dark squared bishops. Those white knights can jump in on the g5 and f6 squares.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, this usually gives black a lot more, but this is something that this queen g4 is unexpected. Little shot here.
Yeah, no, and Nicholas Wang, obviously, you know, a strong player, very tactically alert, and he's thrown something at the highest rated player.
All right. I think we're liking white here, but let's take a look at this game. This is just a slaughter. And this is Sean Kelly versus Guy Argo. And it looks like the bishops got exchanged on f2. Let's see how that happened. g4. Guy Argo plays knight h7. Rook d1. Bishop h4. Bishop f2. Bishop f2. King f2. I think black should be okay here, huh?
Probably okay, yes. I mean, it's kind of nice to trade those bishops. White still has a bit of space, but yeah, it should be okay for black.
Okay, let's move on. Black decides to try to catch up in development instead of trying to win a pawn there, and plays bishop d7.
You and I both agree that would have been a risky pawn to take.
Okay.
But still, your queen g4 or queen h5, you know, maybe rook f4 something.
Just going for it.
Oh, I kind of like this. Rook f4, queen h5. Just try to jump in to the king side with your piece.
We're always willing to sacrifice other people's pieces.
Kind of us.
Yeah.
In case they're too afraid themselves, we're there for them.
Okay. What happened in this game? Black played, after knight b3, played queen c6.
Oh, no. Oh,
And this
Adam.
just, now white's way in control of this game.
Adam, you let a terrible mistake, I'm afraid.
And now after knight g6, we get h4, and 3 black pieces are cut off from the whole game. Like you said, Nick, that's incredible.
That's tragic. Just tragic. Oh.
If white sees h4 here, it's just over.
It is. And just white develops, bishop e3, starts to play on your queen side. Maybe you trade queens too with queen f3. Black's only got one rook on the queen side against all the white pieces.
All right. All right, let's see how this game, I'm sorry, back up to, back to here, okay. Wait a minute, one more, let's go this game. We got this end game, let's see how this went. Oh yeah, it went as we thought it would.
Both sides have 2 pass pawns.
After king g5, white played white played e5 right away, Nick. And then g4, I guess he just calculates that black, but
It looks like that wins the game. D4,
somewhere around
D6. You have to go back G5 check, and one of the white pawns queens.
well played by white.
Okay, James, that was that.
I mean, at least it's not obvious to me that Queen H8 is the way to win the game, but
Well,
it turns out that if black made a mistake right here by trading rooks. Clearly,
yes.
he
I mean,
should play rook
you
e7.
don't trade into a pawn down, king and pawn ending.
So a lot of interesting mistakes here, but nicely played game by white after that for sure.
Yes, he played the pawn ending very well.
All right, this is, we know what happens here. So now we're at this position. Black actually played knight h7, where the knight doesn't really have much to do. And we got the sort of the position that we were looking at before.
Knight h7. So yeah, you keep looking at sacrifices, but it's hard to get more white pieces over there.
I guess he could get the rook over pretty quickly, but
black could play king h8 and rook to g8 maybe. Knight takes h5, pawn takes h5, queen takes h5.
that might be good for white. King h8, rook f6. If you play, oh, no, you've got, well, yeah. Geez, that threatens rook h6 already. Maybe.
Well, we're certainly rooting for the sacrifice. We want some entertainment.
I have
Good
a
or
feeling
bad, we'd love to see
white
it.
will play it. Let's move on here. Black has played white played, Sebby played, let's see, white played e5. Daring black to play knight takes e5. Because then rook c7, so black plays knight g6, and then h4.
Interesting attack. So if knight on g takes e5, bishop takes h7 check.
That might be good.
If king takes knight g5 check, and
King g8, maybe? Just try it first.
king g8, queen h5. How are we doing that? You want to move the rook?
Gosh,
E8?
that's scary, isn't it?
Maybe you can. Maybe it was possible to take that and take the bishop's sacrifice. Complicated. What did Marty play? He played. Oh, I don't like his move
Played
on
f5.
because those bishops are getting open lines after pawn takes.
So white should certainly take on f6 here, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't have it all blocked off for those bishops.
All right, while we're waiting, we're going to go to Daniel Wang versus George Soleus on board 2 of the under 1800 section. Black is playing a good game. He's
Yeah, white
slowly consolidating. But
I had the advantage some moves ago, but yes, it seems to be dissipating.
Okay. And back up to Nicholas Wang versus Ezra Chambers, and Ezra played queen c7. Stopping the bigger threat probably if knight takes d5. But now the question is, what happens after queen takes g7?
Enter some results here.
Results are going to be entered.
We should put like a breaking news little thing.
Yeah. Right, ticker tape,
Right.
Clemens, 1-0.
Happening now.
Right. Yeah, we had a feeling that Clemens was winning that game versus Kaplan.
Then
I have a difficulty with pronunciation.
who do you
Kaplan,
want?
Kaplan.
James Mahudi wins.
That was a up and Mahudi versus Caven Reese was an up and down game. Wow.
Oh, then Adam Stafford.
Yeah, that game's
KO.
been over. Game's been over for a while.
Wick.
Stafford versus
That
Acosta.
was a KO. All right.
Okay, back to this. So what happens after Queen G7, Nick?
So after queen g7, the rook on c8 comes to g8. Only move for the queen is queen takes f7.
But then black wins, right, with bishop h4 and knight d8.
That's bishop h4 after that. Knight d8 being
Knight d8
huge
traps
threat
the
to take the
queen.
queen. You can go g3.
I'll take it. What? Queen g7, rook c g8, queen takes f7, bishop h4.
g3, the rook would take back and still knight g8. So
Oh, on g3, I can still play knight d8, huh?
so it looks like that's a poisoned pawn on g7.
Okay,
And-
Ezra, I can just see Ezra, wondering if Nicholas is going to go for this. It is a poison pawn for sure.
Yes, and I think Ezra didn't plan this, but he's lucky that it's too dangerous to grab that pawn.
Funny game. I mean, both players have kind of not reached their balance yet. Whoever can sprint ahead with the plan is going to have a better game here. Oh, he does it, Nick. This is a miscalculation on White's pawn. This just loses.
Ezra will find this.
Yeah. White can't even start sacrificing because the rook at e1 is too valuable to lose. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, okay. This Nicholas, too bad. You found something interesting, but then you had to sit back and stop and say, "Oh, wait." And you could have just retreated. It was a slow enough position that it didn't matter that you lost the tempo. Queen h3, f3, something.
Now rook c g8, queen takes f7, bishop h4, and with the deadly threat of knight d8, I don't see what white can do.
All those white pieces bundled up.
The rook at e1 is hanging, and the queen is being threatened with attack. Even knight d5 wouldn't do anything.
Well, let's do our best, okay? g8, queen f7, bishop h4. Let's play knight f3. Guard the rook on
All right.
e1, attack the bishop.
So knight d8, I guess.
Knight d8 will go queen takes rook on g8.
There you
Rook
go.
takes g8, knight h4. Technically a head material.
Great move. Great move. I
Or
was thinking
bishop and
something
2
along those
pawns.
lines, but I didn't think it through enough. And if and if and if black plays bishop takes e1, knight e1, the queen probably can't. Doesn't look like it can be trapped
Well,
so easily.
let's
Knight d8 can be met by queen e7.
queen f6, yes. If we lose that dark squared bishop,
Yeah, queen f6.
so let's kind of look for a knockout blow, but maybe it's not there. I think you have to start with rook to d8.
Could you start with bishop g4, bishop h4? Would
Oh,
that make
interesting.
any difference?
Certainly would. He'd immediately have to play knight to f3. And you could just take the exchange, and you're up in exchange for a pawn.
Black gets to play knight b3 too, which is attractive.
Yes, black is better.
All right, let's roll back to this game in a minute, and we'll go to Clemens Kaplan, which was ended in a win for white, and now Sean Kelly versus Guy Argo. This is a very unclear game still, but I like the way black's playing this. Like you said, dark square strategy.
Yeah, white is fine with the center and the knight coming to g3, but all right, black's not cramped.
Anything could happen here. All right, let's roll on to Akko Hidari versus Ilya Gimmelfarb. Bishop d7, king h1 was played. No, white's just saying, go ahead, take my c4 pawn.
Yeah, I like that it doesn't worry.
All right, let's roll on. Oh, sorry.
If black plays knight to b4, well, okay, it causes a little trouble. Maybe just go queen e2. The white must be better in that position.
Okay. That pawn at e5 is cramping black a bit. All right, let's move on here to Alex Chin versus Adam Mercado, and white has indeed played h4. And like you said, Nick, this is 3 black pieces that cannot escape. Well, actually, that's not true, because the black knight can go to f7 and then to d8.
Eventually, yes.
But
Eventually.
Meanwhile, black is going to get destroyed on the queen side.
Let's start with pawn to a4 and
Yes,
just
of course.
pry it open there.
This black is really in trouble here. All right. We've seen the end of this game, and we've seen the end of that game, and look at what happened, Nick. The young genius plays knight takes h5.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. We wanted that. We don't care if it's bad. We wanted it. And it's
a nice.
It's.
I like this for white. I mean, another nice little point is if you take, is that the black bishop at c5 is hanging if some f5, f6 takes on f6. Anyway. So what's the move here, Nick? Black should take it?
Black has to take it.
Yeah.
And queen takes. And then what do you do? Do you go 7 maybe? Rook to F4, then on to F5.
When white takes en passant, the bishop at c5 is hanging.
So pawn takes H5, queen takes H5, bishop E7.
Bishop e7. Okay, so let's say I get calm and just try to double the rooks.
Rook F4.
I suppose, yes.
Rook F4, F3, pawn to F5.
That's a very good move, Nick. Active defense.
You have to take some squares on the king side for black. If you just let those white rooks double and take over the space, you would lose. Oh, it's unclear. It's
Okay. My favorite evaluation. It's unclear. All right. And down to Sebby's game, where white did take on f6, and black took back with the rook, and now white plays bishop to c3.
Yeah,
This is a risky strategy by white, but also by black. I mean, this game is really, this is tough here.
I didn't like that F5 move.
Yeah,
Right?
open game.
Marty. Those two bishops just look awfully dangerous.
They're aiming at the king side. And black is still undeveloped over there. It's interesting, but white also is, his development lags as well. Maybe knight f4? I don't know. Doesn't look right.
Yeah, perhaps save the exchange first with rook f8 and ready knight f4.
Rook f8, knight g5. Tough game.
And if queen f4.
You're trying to mate me, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I go bishop h7. Oh no, your knight's on g6. Yeah. It's not clear.
White must be better.
Queen f4 is a nice move.
Yeah, I don't trust black's position because all the white pieces go out.
Okay, and here we are with George Soleus just playing as cool as a cucumber here in defense. Slowly untangling his pieces, defending his pawn. I think black looks like he's fine now. Bishop a6 is coming.
Last moment for white to try to get something.
Yeah.
But he played knight to b4 here.
Queen takes b4, rook d8 check. That's a nice little try. Nice tactic. Knight b4, rook d8 check. Okay, so knight b4, does bishop b7 work?
Yeah, something like knight b4, bishop b7, bishop takes b7, and then queen takes b4. Probably just an equal game.
All right. Back up to Ezra's game. Let's see what happened. It's following our analysis.
Yes, I think your bishop h4 before was better than what Ezra
Because you
played.
don't give away the f7 pawn.
Yes.
Now knight g8 is met by queen takes g8 with a very complicated game still ahead.
Yeah,
And
I wouldn't want to have.
That's the key move here. Whereas bishop e1, knight e1 is also very complicated. Although black, that's not easy. Knight b3 is good, though.
Now, if bishop e1, knight e1, rook to f8 on the f pawn, queen could go to g7, rook could go back to g8, queen back to f7, we could get a draw, which would be a disappointing finish.
This is not clear at all. I mean, black has to take that rook at e1 or go for the queen. There's no choice at this point. Knight d8 is the obvious move. Queen g8, rook g8, knight h4. What about that position? Knight b3.
Rook b1.
Yeah.
Take the bishop or not, but it's a knight, rook, and 2 pawns for the queen.
Exciting.
Yeah, good battle. Nobody seems to have the advantage here.
All right, let's roll on. We've seen the result of that game. Here is Sean Kelly versus Guy Argo. And the rook comes up to the third line, the classic rook on the third line idea. Defending from the third rank.
Yeah, Sean Kelly should run back to safety with his king.
Yes, King G1 is advised. Okay. And we're getting the sort of position that we were talking about. Black gives up the center to win a pawn, and white plays for the attack.
Oh, Akko is having fun.
Knight f6 check looks like a threat.
We'd have to take bishop on f6.
And you're going to make that bishop at b2 work.
You know, if you just give white a little time to bring his rook to f4, queen to h5, it's all over.
This was a nice pawn sack. Baited him.
Oh,
Very nice.
I think Ilya may have to challenge that knight immediately with knight c5, but maybe bishop d4 really pins that knight. I don't want to go knight f6 check immediately, bishop f6, pawn f6, pawn g6. Not sure it's that easy for white to get in. Still promising, but
I can see that. But what about so knight c5. Would really
knight c5, bishop d4. I don't know, queen b5. queen b4, a3, queen b5, pawn takes c4 seems to win that knight on c5.
What if black takes on b3? And then rook c1?
Complicated. Knight c5, bishop d4, pawn takes b3.
Rook c1?
If pawn takes b3, then
Rook to c1?
rook to c1, and then pawn to b2 on the rook.
Yes.
Rook takes c5 is an endgame, but all right, black may be okay.
All right.
So knight c5 is complicated, but black is in huge danger.
All right. Let's move on here. White is getting ready to open up the queen side and infiltrate over there. And black is in serious trouble.
So black did get the knight over to f7. I guess it's time to sacrifice something on d6.
Yeah, black. This is too bad. Black really messed it up right around in here somewhere, where white was threatening knight a5, and black seemed to just miss it. Here, played
That queen to c6 move, just an oversight.
Lost a couple of tempo and got into a lot of trouble. All right, let's roll down to this game. Samuel Brownlow is defending against Kevin's son, and bishop e7 is the recommended move from Nick to bring that bishop into the game right away and to prepare to play f5. f5 right away is not good, I think, because white will take en passant and then is threatening the bishop at c5. So first bishop e7 with the idea of f5. Am I stating all that correctly, Nick?
I think so. And as you pointed out earlier, move rook to f6 is just a threat. You can't allow white to go rook f6, bring the other rook in.
Oh yeah. So black, I mean, this is the problem with being a defender, though. It's like you suddenly have to make only moves, right? It gets really scary when you're in that situation. It can be difficult. White's got some chances here for sure.
Definitely.
All right, well, while black is thinking, we'll go back to this, and Marty Cortines is still thinking about this position. So we'll move to Daniel Wang versus Giorgio Soleus, and black has solved all his opening problems, and I think here.
Yes.
Really looking good for black now.
Any move, bishop b7 or whatever, solid for black, no worries.
Bishop a6. Yeah. All right. Let's.
Yeah, bishop a6, bishop f3 is okay for white.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. Yeah, and then white's maybe threatening queen a4. Yeah. It looks like it's just okay for black here. He's doing fine. It's just let's roll back up to Chambers, Wang and Chambers.
That like the game of the round. That's
And black Ezra takes on E1, which is a practical decision to just go for the exchange. But he gave the extra pawn on F7, which you didn't have to do by playing Rook G8 first.
he probably underestimated this.
And white has definite compensation, huh?
Okay. Knight B3, probably rook B1 here. Still, there's things for black.
Tricky position.
Yes.
All right, let's come back to it. And Sean Kelly and Guy Argo. This is a classic kind of struggle here. I can almost see Petrosian as black and tall as white or something here.
Yes.
It's got that feel to it. All right. And this game is still, black is still thinking. And if black needs to be extremely careful here. And white plays bishop d1. My guess is to bring the raw strength of both rooks onto the a file here. Black had better sacrifice something quickly or this is just over. He's going to try to hold tight.
Oh, well, okay, he's thinking to do that.
All right, let's go on here.
Pawn takes b5, pawn takes b5, double rooks, queen g2, bishop f3.
Right.
Not gonna work.
Oh, I'm sorry. And we have black still thinking here. We're in the late middle. We're in the middle game, folks, and the players are hunkering down, using their remaining time, getting ready for the time scramble ahead.
Yeah, the pace is slowed down right now in these critical positions.
Yeah. So, Nick, what's Santa Cruz like?
Oh, wonderful beach town with the university, beautiful drive right there by Monterey Bay.
I mean, you were down there recently, so, and actually I'm thinking of taking a little trip down, overnight trip down there next month, so I was going to get the lay of the land from you.
Yes, well, a wonderful space for a holiday between Santa Cruz, what is it, Watsonville, and...
Do you usually come down through the mountains or take one?
Oh, you can do both. I had done both when my son was at UC Santa Cruz. I sometimes I'd drive Highway 1 down to Pacifica, those beautiful drives, and arrive that way. And you can also go over the mountain, Highway 17.
And what's that route like? Because it's been many years since I've done it. Are there places to stop along the way that are in the mountains there, or is it just a straight shot?
Well, once you sort of leave the Bay Area, San Jose, the Palo Alto, so you get to Los Gatos on the border, where like Beatus used to live, or Iris fish. And that's this lovely little town where you've escaped from the Bay Area, but you start the trip up Santa Cruz Mountains on Highway 17. And there tends to be a lot of traffic these days.
Right.
But that's up the hill, you get to some place, the Summit Road or Summit House at the top of the Santa Cruz Mountains. And then down towards.
Are there woods that people stop in along the way up there and can get out?
Oh, lots of woods. It's wild. There are mountain lions up in those Santa Cruz Mountains.
Right. But are there places where it's like people stop and get out and?
You can stop. It's not so many stops there. Not so many places. They'll just go.
So between Los Gatos and Santa Cruz, there's no towns, or there's no. It's the hills, and then you're down into Santa Cruz, pretty much, right?
Well, yeah. As you get closer to Santa Cruz, there are towns: Scotts Valley, Felton. Within 10 miles of Santa Cruz.
I see. Okay.
But you're almost down to the Pacific at that point.
Right, I gotcha. So really going through, if you're in San Francisco, going down one is really more interesting.
San Francisco, that's a great route. It's faster, probably. It's
right.
More scenic.
Yeah. Okay.
And you're planning a holiday down there?
Yeah, a holiday of one day. I think just a holiday, just to take a drive, Maybe stay overnight somewhere down in Santa Cruz. I'm trying to get used to the idea of getting away for short periods of time. Anyway.
Well, let's take another run at the games and see if anybody's made some.
Okay, so this is interesting. Black went back to f7 with the rook, and white took on g6.
Now, why didn't he go knight to g5?
I don't know, Nick.
Or looked like a strong move.
It does look like a strong move. And then queen h5 or knight h7. But he took there and then played h5. I'm not sure that that's the correct way to play the attack. I might have preferred to keep the bishop, the white squared bishop. But maybe he was worried about knight f4. So in this position, if you play knight g5, maybe knight f4. I mean, I don't know. You could take the rook then, or maybe play bishop h7 check and g3. Okay. In any case, we get this, and black is thinking. Certainly a dangerous position here for black still, I think.
Yes, even pawn takes h5.
Black
Knight
plays
to
queen
g5.
So if h takes g6, queen e4, king f1, queen takes g6.
That's a nice defense. Well, Marty is coming up with the tough defense.
On the ball. All right, folks, let's roll down here. This is board 2 in the under 1800 section. Knight e1. White. Okay, so the bishops got traded on b7, and black no longer has the advantage of the two bishops. And it still looks like a kind of an even game. So I'm going to roll up to board 1, where black can, I guess he can't force it. Yeah, probably can't force a draw. No. Bishop e8 maybe? Ah, that might be Ezra's. Oh, he plays rook g8. So queen h6. I'm not sure what the point is yet. Queen h6, rook h8, queen g5. Doesn't seem to lead to anything. What am I missing? Queen h6, maybe bishop e8, trying to play rook h8 and take on h5. Black needs to come up with something substantial. He can't just lose all his pawns on the king side for nothing. Black is liable to gain the f4 pawn or the h5 pawn at some point, I think. So
That's an aggressive move. He could have. Well, I guess he couldn't have repeated.
I think black is aiming for either the f4 pawn or the h5 pawn. You know, maybe if queen h6, he's going to play bishop e8 or something like that. Oh, but then the e6 pawn hangs. Black has to be careful he doesn't give away too many pawns here.
Ezra's being aggressive. I have to like this.
All right, well, this is board 1. Expert Nicholas Wang, who's never afraid to duke it out with the top players. You got to give him credit for that.
Both players. The game's been really exciting, and nobody's stepping back.
I'll never forget Nicholas saying to me once that, how did he think he was going to do against some master? I think it was Elliot. When he says, I'm going to win. I'm just going to out-calculate them. So he's got the confidence, and he plays every game once this style that he has, which is aggressive, and his openings are really super aggressive, once he kind of gets it under control, he could be another Fallujah or something the way he plays. But
he does calculate very well, but it's a little suspicious. And here is a game where you have to calculate. So
what has Ezra got up his sleeve here with this 3-pawn sacrifice? He's won the exchange, but he's lost 3 pawns.
Well, consider it a bento gambit, maybe something like knight e7.
Right.
That right now that queen can't really move and go sort of to h7, but the f4 pawn's loose.
Oh, look at this. He comes up with queen b6. That's incredible, because the queen was just at b6.
What is the idea? Sacrifice
take
on
on c1 and take on b2?
Just grab your pawn back, huh? And knight to d1 to guard the b2 pawn.
To d1, what a great move.
That might be good because the sacrifice on d4. Well, the bishop could come out to e3.
So knight to d1 is starting. It looks like one of those Fisher random positions for white on the back row.
Everything on the back rank.
It looks almost forced. But it does carry the threat of bishop e3. I mean, I would almost call that. Well, what if black plays knight e7? Bishop e3 is met by knight f5. Meanwhile, there's random threats on taking on d4 or something like that at some horrible point. This is problematic for white here.
Well, it's very, very tactical. And, all right, it's a Nicholas Wang type of game, though.
Yeah, knight d1, and if knight e7, bishop e3, huh?
Oh, but then there's knight f5.
And then you can go back to h7.
Back to h7, but rook to e7.
Yeah. Ooh, that's brutal. That is absolutely brutal.
Knight d1, knight e7, queen h7 immediately.
Pinning the knight, and then the queen can go back to d8. Gosh knows. Trying to encircle the queen. And then the queen can go all the way back to c2.
It's such a game where you're calculating. You make one little tactical slip, and that's it. That's the end. So Nicholas is putting a lot of pressure on himself to get it right.
I like queen b6, though. That's a sneaky move. It's very unexpected. The queen has now made all these trips to c7 and b6 and all right. Board 1 is interesting. Here is Sean Kelly versus Guy Argo. And white did withdraw the king to g1, as you said. And black, and black pins the knight. The bishop comes back to challenge this annoying bishop at a6, which kind of prevents the white rooks from moving around. But I don't know, Nick.
And bishop c8, I like the way Guy is playing it. Just very, defensive and taking his squares, got rid of his dark squared bishop.
Knight g5 threatens something.
Yeah, although knight g5, bishop g2 would stop it. Still white's got centralized rook, centralized pawn, that knight on f5. Can't be worse.
Okay. We'll roll
let's see Akko's game. That was looking really exciting.
So black took on b3, ignoring us, and white threw it in with knight f6 check. That looks like it should win somehow.
Had to go bishop takes.
With a horrible threat of queen g4.
Had to go pawn to g6, and Akko plays queen g4 anyway, trying to get in to h5. So right now, Ilya has to do something good to
defend on the 5th row. Oh no, it doesn't work. Oh yeah. Queen b5.
I think you have to go queen b5 so you can come to h5.
Maybe queen g4 was not the most accurate move.
That's possible. Maybe you should have gone bishop e5.
Yeah, and cut off the fifth row or something. Queen b5 is a move that threatens queen h5, I suppose, if you could call that a threat.
Queen b5, queen f4, queen h5.
And then maybe just take on b3. And white's down a pawn, but maybe that's a silly way to play. All right.
Well, no, that's tremendous compensation for a pawn. Yes.
But what about bishop f3?
The queen would have to go to h3.
And then bishop
Your own
bishop g4.
bishop g4, pawn to e5, loses a piece to bishop h3, pawn f4, bishop e7.
Oh wow.
So queen b5, queen f4, ouch.
G5. Can you allow it? Play king h8, queen h6, rook g8.
Maybe. King h8, queen f4, rook g8, queen to h6. Then you'd have queen to b5. There's so many attacking possibilities for white.
We like white, I think. Well, he finds queen b5, and you gotta hand it to him. That's an important move for black.
Well, not a checkmate quite yet, but getting very close.
What a game. White has infiltrated. Let's see how this has gone here. Okay, white took on b5 and played queen g2, trying to set up this bishop and queen battery. And does white overlook this? Knight takes e5?
Oh my God, he just overlooked the tactic. But maybe it's too late anyway. Did rook to a8, and threatening to trade and win the queen. That's tough to deal with.
Well, he plays king f7, and now what? Bishop c5. Okay, so this threatens to win the queen. Black trades.
Oh, and finally gets the rook back in
Now
the
plays
game.
rook h8. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, that was sad. Alex, you had him crushed, and you were just
Black
too
just
slow.
miracle save by black. Incredible. Desperation here. Bishop h6, and this is the point, I think, when, I mean, it looks to me like white's just has to avoid this little cheap trap here, knight e5. Bishop c6 keeps at least keeps the bishop out of the game forever.
Yeah, Alex was slow in setting this up.
Yeah.
Okay, you're still, bishop c5 is winning the game.
Did he, instead of rook fa2, just bishop c5 here. Yeah. And then double rooks. Just overlooked a tactic here. Knight takes e5. Nice move. Wow. rook a8 doesn't, and black finds. Can white play rook takes b8 here and win the queen? Oh, another missed opportunity for white here after king f7.
Well, the d6 pawn would be hanging.
Oh, that's right. Rook b8. Queen b8. Yeah. Just
However, rook takes b8, queen takes b8, then bishop c9.
instead of bishop c5 right away.
Oh no, then you still trade on f3 and play rook a8.
And now white switches courses with this. Oh no, did black just hang his queen?
Oh god. After that tremendous defense. Okay, okay. Yeah, but
That loses the endgame, I'm sure. If white just trades there on a8 and then takes on d7.
especially rook takes, queen takes, rook takes d7 right away.
Right, yeah. Oh.
King probably has to go to g8.
And then you probably trade and make a queen. What a game. What a crazy game.
Yes, there's certainly a lot of action in this game.
All right. We've seen
you
this.
could also maybe take
Oh,
the queen.
look at what happened here, Kevin. Kevin's son. You want to see how this came about?
Yeah, it worked out for him. He's winning that position.
Black played rook f8, rook f8 to c8 instead, and white brought the rook up to the 4th rank, and black played knight f8 to block on g6. And I suppose this is winning.
Yeah, it looks very good. Let's take a closer look. Wins the queen. Rooks, wins the knight back.
And now,
e6 pawn is hanging.
yeah, black is surely losing this. And the bishop can come into the game quickly with bishop c1. And that looks like it should be white's move here, bishop c1.
Or queen g7 check first.
Yes,
king on the back
preventing king g7, yeah. Yes. Wow.
Yes, it's winning, but not completely winning. So
right.
Still 2 rooks for a queen.
So this game, after h5, Marty plays queen f4, rook h4, Nick.
Okay.
Queen f5, and bishop goes back to d2. Huh. I don't see the point of that. Oh, rook f4 maybe to play rook f4. All right, we're still in the game here. 95.
95 and rook f4 looks. Oh no, then knight d3 check.
Ooh.
Probably you have to get rid of that troublemaking knight. How?
I think white is, yeah. White underestimated. White
pawn takes g6.
Yeah. Throw pawn to g6 in right away.
Yeah, I would do that to try to deflect some of the black pieces.
Okay.
D3 check, king F1, queen
sorry.
G6. But yeah, it looks like Marty is coming out okay in this one. He really just needs one move to get his pieces in the game with bishop B7, and he's happy.
Yes. And this game is being played very carefully by both players.
Giorgio Soleus. Now, do you know him, Paul?
No.
Certainly a very solid variation.
Yeah.
Looks like they're playing for the world championship, either side giving an inch to the other.
Yeah, this is some Petrosian Botvinnik game. I finally gave up. I got completely stumped by trying to find, interesting tactics in the Petrosian Botvinnik match. It was a fantastic match. I mean, it was really one of the games are beautiful, but there's absolutely no tactical, like 2 or 3 move tactical shots in it. It's incredible. It's a game. It's a match of sublime positional chess, and no overt tactics. It's amazing, actually. All right. And this is the second board in the under 18 section. We leave the excitement and the crazy stuff to the top board, where Nicholas just goes for it with F5. Nick.
Okay, good. Just forget about that B pawn. Get your own action going.
Yeah. And Ezra takes on C1 and now takes on B2. That is threatening the queen takes rook line. I think Nicholas
Now,
is kind of...
How about knight to D1 here?
Followed by...
Queen takes A3, pawn to F6. You have...
3 pass... White has 3 passed pawns on the king side.
If you could get them going.
I like it.
The alternative is rook to C2 and pawn takes C6. That also looks pretty good.
What a fascinating game. White played rook C2, which is the move you would expect, and then queen B1, rook E2. So White wants his rook into the game, but this is...
Why did he didn't want to take on E6?
Well, I guess the knight's hanging on E1, but then you could take the bishop on D7. And
yes.
These moves are being played very fast, too. So... It's funny, Black still needs to demonstrate some, something that's substantial here. You know what I mean?
Yes, White's got his pawn break, up those pawns. 2, 4, 6, 7. Right now, 2 pawns for the exchange.
And look how Black can get into trouble if he plays E takes F5, like Queen D6 and Knight takes D5 or something.
Okay, that's what Nicholas wants. He wants
action.
An attack too.
Yeah. All right, these guys are too good.
Nicholas has really made he no fear, as you say, like when he
Yeah, no
calculated
fear.
himself, oh, I'm going to win, all out calculated.
I know,
And
all of his games are dragons and Nadorfs and you know, he's a fun player to watch. Once he puts it together, these, you know, watch out.
so, how old is he?
I don't know, 11 maybe? I'm not
Uh,
sure. Somewhere between 9, 10, 11. I'm not that great at guessing people's ages.
very young. Okay.
Yeah. And having fun
So,
with his chess.
certainly looks like.
Okay, so let's see. This is Sean Kelly versus Guy Argo, and what's happened here? Let's see how this came about.
Oh, something went really wrong for Guy.
Okay, so after Queen H2, he did play Knight G5, and White defended the third rank with the Rook. Bishop G2 looks safer to me, but maybe this works too. And then G6 is played.
Which may have been wrong.
White felt compelled to take some action with H4.
He certainly, yeah, needed to, but that looks like a strong move because now you can take on H6 with check and pawn to G5 to guard your knight. So I took the knight, but wow, and had to take back on G5 and rook H3 threatening mate. Oh, it just went wrong. So getting out of the mate, but positionally winning for White. Knight E4 is coming. That G6 was just a lemon.
Wow.
The guy had done it well, but
Black resigned after this. I think the rook was rook H8. I'm not sure what happened here, if these are the exact moves, because after rook H8, hold on.
King E7 and then rook E1 is going to win the rook on E8.
Instead, these are the final moves, but it doesn't look likely. Although with the threat of knight e4, it looks like completely winning for White anyway.
Yes, still winning, but he could have checked. He could have played knight E4.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to hurt.
Yeah, this might be a DGT glitch here.
I think they're looking at some moves after the game.
Yeah. Okay. Wow, Sean Kelly is really a up and coming player. This is Akko's game.
Oh, good. This was a lot of excitement.
After
So he
Queen,
just took
after
back
Queen
on
B5, he
B3.
just took back on B3, and the knight comes into B4, and now the queen comes to F4, and there's two defenses for black, I guess. Queen H5, that doesn't look like it's gonna work.
King
And King
H8.
H8.
Not sure taking on B3 was the best use of the tempo.
Yeah. But here we are, Nick.
Oh, probably your King H8 is best in this position.
Well, Queen H5. Oh, he plays it, Nick. I wouldn't be surprised if that just loses.
Bishop F3 looks like a pretty good move. Wow. What do you do on Bishop F3?
I don't know.
Queen H3, Bishop G4. That again. So that just seems a mistake, Ilya. Bishop F3, Knight to D3.
Oh,
Queen
knight to D3
D6.
is a nice move. Queen D6.
Well, Queen
yeah.
D6 attacks everything. I think, yes, White's just winning a piece now.
Well, tough little game here.
Christian asked about King H8, Queen H6, and Rook F4, but the line we were looking was King H8, Queen H6,
Rook G8.
Rook G8, Rook F4, and then Queen H5 to trade the queens. Maybe it could have been King H8, Queen H6, Rook G8, G4. Okay, here's interesting. Alex Chen decided to win the queen for the 2 rook, which also looks very good. Oh, sorry, that looks. What is going on? Black has counter threats with rook rook on A8 to A2 check, and then
Rook F1 and Rook E1.
yes, so Queen F7, Bishop G7.
Bishop D4 doesn't work, right?
You get a perpetual with Rook A2 check, King F3, Rook F1 check, King E3, Rook E1 check.
What a game. This has been an incredible game for the up and down.
Well, Adam Mercado, he has 9 lives escaping from this position.
Yeah. 9
Well
lives.
done not to give up and keep fighting.
Action Adam by taking perpetuals. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well, we'll see if Christian is right that Adam tries to win. I really don't see how he can. Those rooks just stack, and the king can't escape to D4 because of Bishop G7.
Wow, look at that move, Nick. I wouldn't be surprised if Black is winning now.
Yes. Well, Action Adam's going to get his.
Is being confronted with Action Alex.
Yes.
We have another subscriber. Thank you.
He wants to hide the king on G3.
Because Black won't have Rook G1 check.
Yeah. All right. 2 action players.
Where do they find these brilliancies, Nick?
Oh, that's quite a move. If pawn takes G4, Queen F7 check, Bishop G7, Bishop D4, no perpetual check, a threat of checkmate. Really good. They both have enough time
to figure it out.
A lot of shots there.
All right, let's move on. Or do you think? What do you think?
I think that might win the game.
Can Black
This,
defend
this
with Rook G8? I mean, after all that, let's say Black plays H takes G4, Queen
Queen
F7,
F7,
Bishop
Bishop.
G7, Bishop D4, Rook G8, and just
Um,
I guess
and
D7, Rook
on
A8.
to D, or to A8.
Then you try to what Queen E7, try and play takes on G7 and D8 Queen.
Yes, and that looks hard to defend against. That looks, yes, looks like you win one of the rooks for the D pawn.
Oh, he checks there first. And now what? Rook C2 doesn't seem to work because of Bishop D4.
So is he going to go D1 to try to get some checkmate?
Ooh,
I'll checkmate you before you checkmate me.
Rook D1 is a vicious move, Nick. White's going to have to interpose the bishop on E3, and then anything could happen.
Rook D1, maybe pawn takes F5, D3, bishop E3. Wow. And you notice how Adam didn't think, and he just went for the counterattack.
I love that Rook D1 move. You know, in some of these games we found some beautiful stuff. I mean, over the years, we've found some incredible shots that were never played in the games that we've looked at.
Well, but some of our players have found some incredible
That's
shots.
exactly true. Yeah.
I think this game is. I'm going to have to annotate it for the newsletter. It's too much going on. Just
You can analyze the complicated games. I'd much rather analyze the simple games. You know?
there are more tactics in this game than in 2 Trojan Buffeting matches.
That's right. Yeah, I was writing a series of articles where I was taking every world championship match and sort of saying, like, find the move, find the winning tactical shot. And it was not hard to do, through every single match. And then I got to Petrosian Bobner. I was like, they just didn't have those kind of games. They didn't. There might have been one game, I was usually giving at least 6 or 7 examples out of each world championship match of some nice little tactic, And then I get to this match and there's nothing. It's amazing.
Let's see Chambers against
let's roll
Wang.
back up there. I agree.
As Kristen Cummins says, it's reminding him of Friesel Waffen.
So we had this occur, and Black went back to defend the pawn at E6, and White bypassed him at the bypass. And that
the
changes.
Black Knight comes out.
Yeah, the Black Knight came out quickly. And now White's pawns are kind of stymied. And folks, the threat is Knight H3 check.
Meanwhile, that knight has a great square on e4.
And an even better square at h3. If you can get that.
I don't think Nicholas is going to miss that shot on h.
Yeah. This is a typical French, complex French. I like the way Ezra's played this. I'm not so sure about this f6 move.
Yeah, that black really back in the game.
I'm not sure what white should play, but this might have been a critical moment here.
Maybe knight to f3.
Getting the pieces out.
Yeah.
And
I like that better.
It stops the knight f7, knight g5 idea, kind of.
You're still not afraid of him taking on f5. Just play knight f3.
Okay. Instead,
But now,
and white plays g4. Sailing black. What are you going to do?
maybe bishop a4 and around her horn there.
Coming around the horn. All right, this game is nuts. Let's go on to Sean Kelly. Oh, this game, Sean Kelly, Guy Argo is over, as is. Okay, we're at Akko and Ilya.
Right? Ilya has, that doesn't save the piece. d5, the white queen can go to d6 and then, oh, I'm sorry, queen to d6, pawn to g4. Maybe you go queen to d4, so pawn to g4. If you take it, queen d5 check.
So white still has problems to solve here, although his position looks awfully good.
Yeah, this is
What about queen d4?
And pawn to g4.
Yeah. If you're white, you want to finish this off with a mate.
You do. And
and you can't play queen takes b4 because of queen takes f3 check.
yes. Okay, you're just looking for a knockout somehow.
Queen d6 g4. What if you played bishop e4 there? I guess he protects the bishop.
Okay, protect the bishop. And then somehow he's not getting mated.
That's very disappointing.
It is. It must be winning for white, even if you go bishop takes h5, pawn takes f4. Ooh,
And then take back. All right, we're going to enter some results here.
This is like the presidential election. You get the
Yeah.
Hey, we got
This is the recall.
the returns from New Mexico are in.
This is the recall, actually.
Oh my God, they're gonna recall me. There we go. Draw.
I'll tell you, we all have our... Yeah. Which game ended in a draw?
Kevin's son.
Kevin's son's game ended in a draw. Nick, we got to look at that. Whoa, what happened here, folks? A whole bunch of moves were played. Let's see. White, instead of getting his bishop into play, decided to push his pawns.
He should have gone queen g7 check.
Yeah, and he should be trying to get his bishop into play. Because you can't win the game with just your queen versus 3 pieces over there. And black starts to get active here. Finally, the bishop comes in. But now,
Oh, black's, yeah, now that
black's
queen's
got a lot of
cracked.
counterplay here.
Look at that white queen, no square.
Yeah, it's amazing. This threatens what? Exactly. Bishop h4. Queen h8, rook f8, and the players agreed to a draw. Did white have something better than queen h8? This position is confusing me. It looks to me like white's better here.
Well, the threat is like bishop g3, king h3, rook g5.
Yeah,
The unstoppable rook h1.
rook h1, yeah. Look at that. Crazy.
But yes, maybe there's something.
Yeah, if white had swung the queen over to the queen side, and then after that little sequence you showed, can start checking with like the queen and the bishop, queen c8, king f7, queen d7 check. I don't know. In any case, peace broke out between the two players, and they agreed to a draw.
Okay, quite a battle.
Oh, there were more moves. Here's where they agreed to a draw. But white can play queen g6 check and take on g3. I'm not sure what's going on here. Is these moves played after the game was agreed to a draw, or is there something that we don't know?
Yeah, I doubt this happened. I think
it was earlier.
I think they repeated with rook to f8, queen to h7, rook to f1.
Yeah, and these are more moves that were played by the players on the DGT board. Okay,
Yes.
game ends in a draw. We're going to move on here to Sebby and Marty. This has happened, Nick. A lot's happened since we were here. Black played knight. Black played knight to e5, and white played rook to c3.
Don't like that move.
The knight came in with check, and the king went to e2, and the knight went to b2. And the
Funny.
queen goes to h1. This is kind of a remarkable game here. g5, bishop g5, bishop b7. The material is even, and white's attack down the h-file is not. Black finally gets the bishop in. Bishop c1 attacks the knight, and black trades. I guess if rook f3, queen c2, and that's exactly what happens.
Oh, he's taken with the queen c2.
Black is in the driver's seat here, if not winning. Did black miss a win here? Maybe knight c4. I don't know. This looks very strong for black.
Yeah, there's still not a knockout because that rook, he should have gone rook to that last position with the knight on b2. He could have gone rook to c8, and he's threatening rook to c1 check,
Right.
and queen c1 mate.
Beautiful.
And I don't see how to stop it.
Look at that. Rook c8 threatens rook c1. No way out. Beautiful shot. Beautiful. Yep. Nice.
But he's
C4.
still better.
Okay, black's thinking. Nice move seen there by Nick. Just terrific. And it's the usual thing. You want to bring your forces into the game. You know, bring up the reserves. Rook c8. Threatens rook c2 as well as rook c1. Rook c1 is the real knockout.
At queen on h1, rook on h4, they're just out of play.
Yeah. All right. So I guess Sebby is hanging in there. And let's roll on to this game, this positional struggle here between these two heavyweights. White has attacked the black rook with knight e5, and black played b5, attacking the queen, which moved to f4.
Was there a win for white there instead if you had gone queen to c8 check? I think missed a win. Pawn to b5, queen c8 check on the rook.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have to trade queens.
And then you trade and play rook d8.
And the knight goes to c6.
Look at that, and if rook c8, knight takes e7, and knight takes c8. Nick, you have eaten your Wheaties tonight. You're seeing everything.
It's nice to just sit there. They have to do all the hard work, and you try to look for these 2 or 3 moves tactic.
God, knight c6 is a beautiful, another beautiful tactic. Really nice. All right, we're getting some chess lessons from the Grandmaster tonight, folks. Let's go back up to Ezra Chambers and Nicholas Wang, who are battling it out on board 1. Let's see. Just go back a move or two. White played g4, black played knight e4. Knight f3 was played, and Ezra just chopped off the pawn at c3. So this is getting a little speculative for white here, I would say. Here, look at this.
Yeah.
He's putting all his what do you call it, chips or whatever into. Black is just, all he has to do is hold up these pawns and get that c pawn rolling. Knight to g5, bishop to d7, and he eschews. Look, he can play knight f3, repeating the position, Nick. But he plays king h2. I'll tell you, this kid knows no fear.
Yeah, I would have some fear for white here. But he does have those 3 connected pass pawns. He's kind of got that c pawn covered up.
He's ready to play f7. He wants to play f7, I think. Although he has to watch out for rook g5 then. This is getting, with both players having 12 minutes on the clock, anything could happen here.
Oh, yeah, this will be a fantastic finish.
All right, so let's take a look at this game where after g5, Akko plays queen d4, and black must play g4, and white plays bishop e4, which we were looking at briefly, rook d8, rook f4. So white's sort of taking the slow boat approach here.
He's threatening rook g4 check, queen g4, bishop h7 check.
Right. Black moves into the corner. And white's in the think tank here. And for once, Akko has more time than his opponent. But it's amazing that Black has managed to survive this for as long as he has.
And he's threatening to play pawn to c5, get that bishop to c6.
Yeah, and the white queen is strangely vulnerable on d4. Maybe it should have gone to d6. Although
Yes.
it can go into it could have gone into c7 and b6 as well. There's all these squares.
Yeah, he missed his best shots.
Black is hanging in there, folks. This is a dramatic game.
On to e5 is the threat.
All right, look at this, Nick. Remember this game?
Oh, still going. Okay, yes.
Sorry, he played rook to
D1.
d1. Rook a2 check, king g3, rook d1. This is like one of the Bronstein-Botvinnik match games or something. You know?
Uh-huh.
And white takes on f5.
Takes f5. Yeah.
Probably forced, right?
And you probably want to throw in rook d3 check, bishop e3, and then recapture on f5. Five minutes for Adam Mercado.
Yeah. Boy, what a game. I don't see a knockout blow for Black.
White should be able to give a patcher at least.
All right. There have been some incredibly exciting games. He said, yawning. It's only because it's late here, folks. It's late. All right, these games are over. This game was a draw. H6 has been played by Sebby. He's lost his queen. Oh, no.
He lost his queen. How did that happen?
Let's see. I'm going to find out. Knight c4, bishop c1. Black played knight e5, threatening the pawn at f3. That looks pretty strong.
Very strong.
Rook f8 was played, and now rook c8. This looks like it's a disaster.
And that's it. That's it. Yes.
Yeah.
Bishop has to move to avoid mates, and then you just.
Okay. Wow, that was quite a game. Let's see. This game, Nick has been on fire, pointing out like the most brilliant stuff.
And actually, with Sebby, Steven Zirk is going to be his new coach.
Is that right?
Yeah, Grandmaster. Steven.
Whoa. We're going to expect some some rapid improvement.
Yeah, he texted me saying he likes what he sees.
Yeah, good. Ooh, knight takes g6 here. Nick.
You seem to have missed that. Queen e4, yeah, that's.
And see, I get to see a few moves every once in a while. Nick.
Oh, yes.
You know, I've got my own cheap shots. Instead, knight d3, the players are not as inspired sometimes as the commentators, and sometimes they're more inspired. It just depends on the whether it's a full moon in San Francisco or not. All right.
Well, they're playing like Botvinnik and Trojan,
Right, that's right.
avoiding tactics.
All right, this game is definitely fun here. Let's see. Black pieces are penetrating to the back of white's position here. Both players are playing with fire. 10 minutes left for Nicholas, 9 minutes left for Ezra. This is a very exciting game.
The nickel, yeah.
But we're entering results.
That's Sebby's.
And Sebby Suarez goes down against Marty Cortines.
Yeah, that's not
And we have still a few games left. So, assuming that Ezra doesn't want to hang his queen, where's he going to move it to, Nick?
Oh, let's see.
He moves it to D1, attacking the knight at H7.
Or queen to E1 might have been good, so the knight couldn't come back to G5.
Right.
I would have tried that one.
But it could have actually, because if knight G5, queen H4, knight H3.
Aha, actually not a bad square, H3.
Maybe better than where it is now. So knight G5?
Knight G5, the rook has to go back where it came from. And then
what's white accomplished in the last... He's got to get the G pawn going here.
Well, he could go knight to...
he could go G5 here. And if queen H7, G6. Oh, but I guess black would play rook H7. And there's a pin on the H pawn. Nick, what is going on here?
Let's take a line like rook back to F8, knight to H3, pawn to C3. What's pawn to G5, pawn to C3, D3, pawn to C1, queen, bishop takes B1, queen takes B1, pawn to G6.
Nice line. Nice line.
A rook, but it's 3 connected passed pawns. But then probably bishop E8 kind of stops the advance. White would like to advance the pawns without having to lose the bishop for the C pawn. C3 becomes a threat here. And he can repeat the position with knight H7.
Well, then the queen can snap it off.
Oops. Oh.
I don't know. There's been a little too many knight moves by white. It's getting...
Okay, how about knight H3? Pawn to C3, pawn to G5, pawn to C2, rook to G1.
Right, and then queen to B2.
Queen to B2.
You could go rook C1. And just play the slow bow to China variation. I wonder where that expression comes from.
Yes, I don't know. I once tried to find out, but I couldn't.
All right, this is a fascinating fight. Really, really interesting. So let's go on to board 4, where Akko Hidari has decided that his positional advantage is such that he can go into an endgame, or a middle game rather, with this. But if I'm black, I'm happy I didn't get mated, even though actually I might still be in danger of getting mated. Right, with rook takes g4 and then swinging that rook over to g7 or something like that. Does black have time for c5? He has to.
Or you could just stop and defend your G pawn. Rook to d8.
Bishop c7 and rook takes a5.
Uh-huh. Certainly white's better.
Yeah, despite being a pawn down, white is better. Getting late here at the mechanics. It's 10:30, and we still have a bunch of games going on. It's amazing. Oh, look what happened here.
Oh.
Let's see what happened here, Nick.
Wow, Adam Mercado had put up
He
such a
took on
great
f5,
defense.
check, king h8, queen e5, king h7, and then d7. Maybe that's just too good.
Why didn't you go bishop g7 on that? Oh, I guess there's queen e8 check, queen h5 check.
I think d7 is just too strong, maybe. Wow. Black played rook e2, king f3.
A nice move.
Look at that, the pawn can't be stopped, so he has to take it. And then white's obviously going to triangulate some massive win of material here. Black made a mistake with king h8, but if he plays king g7, it's queen e5 check, and that's going to win anyway.
Yes.
So,
Well, Adam Mercado made almost the comeback.
What a game.
Here.
What a crazy game. All right, we've seen this.
He was down to 38 seconds, which...
Oh, what happened here? Oh, this is Sebby's game, yeah. And this is Botvinnik versus... the pawn structure's kind of gotten shaken up a little bit. Still a play, white, black is getting a little somewhere here. We'll see. Board 2 of the under 1800 section. Back up to Ezra Chambers on board 1. Oh, what's gone on? After knight h3, black played c3 and white played g5. And black plays bishop e8. And white is thinking here. So here comes that tactic I think that we were talking about, Nick, of just playing rook g1 and rook c1 maybe. Or just rook g1 and then trying to push the pawns through.
Yes, because if pawn to g6, we've gotten some sacrifice on g6.
This is still really dangerous position for both sides. Hey, Richard, how did you do in your game, Richard? Does bishop to d3 help? Well, it might, but it's black's move. Black leaves the queen hanging, of course, at b1. That actually took me by surprise, Nick, just to show you how sleepy I am. Knight f4. Ooh, that looks good, knight f4. Doesn't it? Although h6 kind of looked good too.
Now, pawn to g6, bishop takes g6, knight takes g6, rook takes g6, and can't catch the c pawn tying down the rook. So it's one move from getting those pawns to work, but
I think White wasted a whole tempo here, Nick, by playing Queen e3. Unless he needs to get the knight to the f4 square. But if he doesn't, then Queen e3 is a waste of time.
Well, he was thinking pawn to g6, pawn to c2, rook to b1, then bishop takes g6, allowing the sacrifice for the advanced pawn. So he was trying to keep the two pawns, but
right
now can't advance it. Pawn g6, bishop takes. So, and the threat is rook takes g5. Wow. If knight takes e6, bishop takes h5. So Nicholas could be in trouble. You have to, pawn to h6, rook takes b5.
I just get the feeling White missed something in here. A better way of like hanging on to everything.
Yeah, this is not working for White.
I'm not finding a good move for White here. Bishop to d3. That's the move Richard Hacks suggested.
Oh, Richard won his game, so.
So rook takes g5?
And then rook takes b1.
Oh, rook takes b1 is the threat, yeah.
Okay, so nicely done by Nicholas. He's
threatening to take the queen.
threatening to go rook takes b1. If rook takes g5, rook takes b1, and bishop takes h5.
Well, Ezra plays queen b2.
What would have happened in that line? Rook takes g5.
Rook takes b1. Bishop takes h5, playing for mate.
Or even taking the rook on b1 first, and then
Right. Is there a way to get out? Oh my gosh. Amazing.
Maybe knight to h3 has more complications, and they're down to 3 minutes each. What a situation. Oh, queen b2 is safe because c1 check is a huge threat. So you're going
Yeah.
to have to lose.
I'm not finding a good move for white here, really, with h5 and g5 sort of hanging. It's kind of gotten almost out of control here.
It has. Queen b2 is a nice move.
Yeah.
Um, those wonderful pawns just didn't get going.
Yeah. I'm gonna come back here and say that there was something around here with Queen E3 that maybe wasn't working out. I mean, white could have played even just some move to get those pawns one square further.
Well, he could have played g6.
Yeah.
Could have just played
Right.
g6.
Right.
And maybe not winning, but I think somewhat better.
Right. Just force black to sacrifice.
Yes, the bishop has to sacrifice.
Yeah.
c2, rook g1, and then bishop takes e6.
Okay, so after queen b2, Nicholas played bishop c2, and Ezra does not take the bishop with check, but instead eliminates one of the dangerous pawns over there.
Oh yeah, no, that's a killer move.
I think it is.
And that will almost flag Nicholas. It's you're so sure they're going to take check. Yeah.
Nice move. Showing his class.
Yeah, maybe he could have taken the pawn on e6. Well, the threat was pawn on c2 to c1 discovered check. I don't know quite what when Richard wanted him to take on e6.
Well, now Richard's listening to Chuck Berry Christmas songs. Well, Nicholas is saying you can only take one of my pieces. Or maybe he's going to take both of them. This is just this cannot be good. Rook g5 check and rook g1. Yikes. Everything is going here.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff.
And down to 55 seconds. I think he's resigned. The clocks have stopped.
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
Wow, what a
Dramatic
battle
game on
that
board
was.
1. Yeah. Let's go to
Incredible.
Let's go to board 4 where Akko is. Wow. Ilya Gimmelfarb is on the comeback trail here. He's now up 2 pawns, and white still hasn't mated black.
Yes,
Whoa.
he is safe now.
This is
Pawns is 2 pawns.
somehow Akko has not been able to nail the knockout move here. Going
Now,
back,
what is that with the clocks, though?
yeah, something has happened here. Maybe the game is over and white won. It says white won. How did he win here?
Okay, 4 minutes. Let's see how the...
I don't know what the result is. I'll ask Abel the next time he walks in, because I'm a little confused here. It says 1-0, but certainly black is better here. So
There's no more moves on the board.
no,
It-
well, there might be in there. I'll tell you what. I'll take a 3-minute break and go into the other room.
It's still very dangerous. Rook to E1, even if the knight goes back to D5, pawn to H3, and there's back against the black king. Okay, Paul is checking out the action live. As often happens, the DGT boards, they have a little glitch when there's a lot of time pressure. Players don't exactly place on the square that they have to be. So, and then the game stops or they get the wrong move.
Well, Nick, Akko did win this game. I don't know how he won it, but this game was won by white.
Okay.
And moving on, there's only one game left, and that is on board 10. So,
Do you want to pick? There you go. Pick and choose, whatever you want.
We don't want to.
I like that.
okay, folks, we're still broadcasting, just to let you know. Are all the games
All the
over?
games are done.
All right. Yeah, we got a little confused with the DGT here, but
Which one?
Akko's game ended in some strange position
Oh,
where it
yeah.
was hard to see what was.
I
Okay.
think at some point.
All right. Anyway, I'm going to say goodnight from San Francisco. I'm here with Abel
Yeah.
Telementes, and we'll bye, Nick. See you next time.
Tuesday, next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Next Thursday.
Next.
Oh,
yeah, because
yeah.
we don't have this Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we're taking off the arena too, huh?
Yes.